I love that thing.
All right, everybody, welcome to
Welcome.
Emergo TV. I'm Dave Kenny,
And I'm Susan Kenney.
and Susan's really freaking out over now regarding our flying animated logo. She loves that stuff.
Yeah, I do.
She
I love
likes.
it.
She has no idea how we get that made, but she loves that stuff.
Yeah, not my role.
All right, welcome, friends. And Emergo TV is a place where we're going to discuss for the next 60 minutes live here, streaming live right into your homes and offices and tablets and phones.
Wherever you are.
We're going to talk anything recovery, anything addictions, anything recovery, crisis,
Recovery coaching,
behavioral challenges, people who may be in a place of darkness and pain. This is a place for help.
parents that might be confused and wanting to have some direction, or spouses that need some extra support. We just want to start the conversation where whatever addiction related or recovery related.
And this is a live question and answer. So please feel free at any time to throw in any question you want. We already have some questions
Yeah,
submitted.
we had some questions that came in.
So we'll start
yay.
there, but we'll answer the live ones too. And my first question, Susan.
Hey, Tom. Hello from
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
My first question, Susan. What's the name of our book?
Actualized recovery. So actualized recovery, and tag is, it's not about 12 steps. Recovery is a brain thing. Hey, Al. Oh, no, that's Ted.
No, it's Ted.
Ted.
Yeah, Ted.
Yeah, nice
So-
to see you, Ted.
Welcome, guys.
Well,
Any
nice to see
questions?
you.
Any questions you want to ask? Anything about recovery coaching, addictions, and what makes Emergo Academy and Emergo TV
But
unique?
first, I do have to plug Ted.
All right.
Ted has some really cool recovery movie meetups. Go check out his stuff. He's written a book and how to implement movies into addictions recovery. It is super cool, super awesome.
Well, we were.
Ted,
Well,
love
here's,
that you're-
we ran into Ted about a year and a half ago, I think, Ted, maybe a year ago. And
we were doing a summit.
well, we were
And,
running
yeah,
before that. We
and-
ran a residential program, and for about 11, 12 years. And what we did on the weekends, Friday night was movie night,
Mhm.
and we found emotional movies to
Mhm.
help people kind of identify with things. And then we meet Ted, and I went, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
you have formulated what we were doing with
Yeah.
people in our recovery program,
Yeah.
using movies to teach things. It is a powerful
And to
experience."
start a conversation.
So he's got,
all
right. So anyway,
Yeah.
Emergo TV has turned into a recovery movie meetups commercial.
But we love it that much. Hey, Christina. Nice.
Anyway, you can, if you want to check out Ted's work at Recovery Movie Meetups, fantastic for groups, for programs, or even for individuals. He's got workbooks and all that stuff, and love that. So, yep, it's the Recovery Movie
Yep.
Meetups commercial. I didn't know we were doing this.
Didn't
tonight.
know we were plugging you for the first 5 minutes, but it's worth it.
So, Susan, this is an open forum, questions and answers
Yep.
from anybody. Christina from Ontario, love to see you. Thanks so much for supporting us and showing up. So we've had some questions submitted, and I mean,
Do you want to start?
yeah, but here's the fun part. I call this. Susan gives me heck about this.
Yeah.
That I call this like the Saturday Night Live version for recovery conversations. But then she goes, "Well, there was a lot of drugs and stuff.
There's
used."
a lot of debauchery on Saturday Night Live.
But that's why I love it, because this is live. Anything can happen, and this is the recovery version of Saturday. This is the
So
clean version
version.
of Saturday Night Live. Yep. And so yeah, I'll start. Here's the first question. Question number 1 is on my sheet. What inspired the creation of Actualized Recovery, and how does it differ from other recovery books? Oh man, that's a great question. So first of all, it actually happened as a result of a couple things. One is that in our program we started to evolve, and we believed in a brain first approach. Always have done that. Always believed that if the brain is involved in addiction, then the brain is the key thing for recovery. So we've always created and worked from a place of a brain first lens, not brain only, brain first. And then in a number of years, we realized we were doing so many things, and we kind of did a 2-day retreat, and we put everything on these huge whiteboards. We rented this master room, and we wrote everything down, and it turned out we have 5 principles. Everything could be put into 5 buckets. And those 5 principles?
So number 1 was physiology, and second was psychology. Third is spirit. Fourth is
Connections.
Connections. I just blanked. And 5 is lifestyle, tying it all together with lifestyle.
And yet all of those are viewed from a brain first point of view. So what supports the brain or what may hurt the brain? And Tom, great question. We're going to get to this beautiful lead in for what we're talking about here. So we'll get to that in a second. And then we got to the point during COVID and the lockdown, let's make this more accessible to people. And that's this beautiful book. It's just come out. Dr. Daniel Amen, the leading neuropsychiatrist, maybe in the world, but certainly in the U.S., the endorsement is finally a book that gets to the underlying root of why people become addicted to harmful substances. I mean, for him to say finally, that's amazing. So, meaning this is the first approach, and the brain first approach in actualized recovery is a game changer. No, this is your book.
I was going to say.
No, this is yours. So now she's into it. So that was the evolution of it. Now, why is it different than any other recovery books? Well, actually, if I read you more endorsements, hang on,
I'm going to read one out.
If I read you more endorsements, that's funny. If I read you more endorsements, you'd understand that even Dr. Amen says the brain first approach in actualized recovery is a game changer and has the potential to help so many people overcome addictions. And the reason why it's a game changer is everything is viewed from a brain first point of view and not a talk therapy. And it is really understanding and embracing neuroscience first and foremost, because if that's the problem, then that's the solution. You have some famous
guys quote here too. An important examination of the primacy of the brain in all that we do, all that we are, and all that we can become. It's refreshing to read a well-reasoned book like Actualized Recovery because it discusses vital topics like brain-body dualism and neuroplasticity from a pragmatic and user-friendly point of view that I believe people can benefit from straight out of the box.
Who's that? Who wrote that?
Who's that guy?
Who is that? Wait a minute. Ted Perkins, founder of Recovery Movie Meetups. Who's here tonight? Ted.
It's all about Ted tonight.
It's unbelievable. Ted, you must have used chat for that because there's a lot of big words.
So do you want to jump into Tom's?
No, this is you.
So Tom's question regarding sleep and brain health. Are there recommended supplements to improve quality depth of sleep? Yes, there is supplementation, but Tom, it's going to be a bigger conversation. So when you're looking at sleep, yes, sleep is driven from the brain, and an overactive brain can absolutely take off when your head hits a pillow, but so can a malnourished brain, so can a dehydrated brain, so can a brain that has had too much stimulation. Caffeine plays a role. Sedentary lifestyle, so not having enough movement, so when your head hits the pillow again. So there's a lot of factors that do factor in. From a supplements point of view, I love melatonin. There's also other benefits for the brain to melatonin. And I need to clarify, when we give recommendations, this is in general terms. I always say, please consult with your practitioner or your doctor, whoever is helping you with your health. Magnesium glycinate is one of the things that can have a really great benefit. The other thing is the fruit cherries. Cherries have something magical in them that induce sleep.
Cherry cobbler?
Oh, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why
cherry
not?
cobbler.
Let's try it. I'll do some. So a smoothie with cherry, banana, and coconut water before bed can really bring it. And it does two things. It feeds the brain, so it gives you glucose, and it also has the calming effects for cherries. So I'll cut it there. I could go on, Tom, but I'll just cut it there for right now.
That's a pretty good answer. What was the glutamate thing? What was that? It's a great answer.
Glucose?
No, doesn't matter. I missed it already.
Oh, the magnesium glycinate?
What's the difference? Magnesium and magnesium glycinate.
So there's actually 7 types of magnesium. And the one that...
I'm seriously asking this question. I do not know this.
The one that works best to relax this and induce sleep and relax muscles is magnesium glycinate. But for any supplement, I'm going to also use this disclaimer. There's a lot of supplements that have a lot of stuff in them that you don't want to ingest. So the brand that I love the most is called Vimergy. They use very, very pure ingredients, and Vimergy. That's the only magnesium that we use.
So somebody's identified in one of the questions in our tagline in our book, it's not about 12 steps.
Yes, you wrote
Recovery
that, Ted.
is a brain thing. And then the question is, where was it? I found it here. How does actualized recovery differ from traditional 12-step programs? First of all, my take always, if a 12-step program is helping you or a family member, fantastic. I'm not here to pass judgment on that.
Yeah, or whatever program.
Here is the difference, and we write about this in the book. Imagine right now that you're wherever is your next trip. You're going to Arizona, you're going to Costa Rica, you're going to Italy, you're going to see family. Maybe it's an Easter trip right now you have planned, and you're loading up. You're going to the car in the morning, tomorrow morning, to the airport, and you head to the airport. Traffic seems light, like it's a good day. And you get to the airport early. It's a good day. You're not rushed for this time. You got all your socks and underwear packed. And you check in, and they give you an upgrade. They say, you know what? You get a seat right in the front of the plane. And you go, that's amazing. And because of that, you fly through security. You get a pass. I mean, this is a great day. And you get there, and you're a little early, so you wander over. Maybe you picked up your favorite beverage, a cup of tea or something, and you wander over to look out the windows of your airplane. And you look out, and you see this DC plane built in 1935, shiny chrome twin prop plane, seats 21 people. And you turn to the flight attendants there at the gate and say, "Gate attendant, is that my plane?" And they go, "Yeah, it's your plane." It has not been updated with any technology. It has no aerospace technology, no computers on board. This is all flown like it was in 1935. Navigation's 1935. Guess what? That's when AA and 12-step programs began in 1935. The good part of this story is in 1930. Well, by the 12 steps were formulated in 1940. Bill W. And when they formulated it, they did their very best because we didn't know about neuroscience. We didn't know about brain science. Our knowledge in psychology and food sciences
molecular science
was so far behind.
Social sciences.
The issue, though, is that 12-step programs have not adopted new learning, new technology. That's like an airplane that hasn't adopted new technology. That's like telephones not changing since the 40s. That's not adopted new technology. So we accept new technology in every area of our life, except the 12-step programs have stayed very rigid in what they have believed in 1940 is what they believe today. The 12 steps haven't changed. And so what we've done is we've learned from what has happened in the past has worked well, and what the new sciences show us. The brain can change, which maybe we can get into in a minute. Neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, and the brain drives behavior, and the brain drives addiction. And so if you want a different future, it all starts with the brain. So that's the difference of actualized recovery in a nutshell. It's not about 12 steps. Recovery is a brain thing. But with that said, Susan, before we go any further, we promised Nate, our producer, we'd break on time. And so Nate.
Okay, I can't. 15 minutes already?
15 minutes. Here we go.
This is going to go so fast.
And so we'll be right back in 1 minute. Nate's got a little special treat for everybody here. And I'm going to keep talking until...
Discover the brain-first approach to recovery with Emergo Academy and join our Recovery Club. Surround yourself with a supportive community free of guilt and shame, and gain access to coaches and recovery experts with lived experience. Dave and Susan Kenney, co-founders of Emergo Academy, have developed these methodologies over the last 15 years. And as a member of the Recovery Club, you get exclusive access and resources to achieve your recovery goals and relieve the suffering. Stay up to date with live group meetings, Emergo TV updates, and 24/7 access to the private Recovery Club. Visit emergoacademy.com and join the Recovery Club today.
All right, welcome back, people, to Emergo TV, where we're going to talk tonight everything about addictions, recovery, crisis, recovery coaching. Ask your questions. What do you call it? Ask us anything.
Ask us anything.
All right, so I'm going to ask you because we have more questions. You're up on this question.
Okay.
What are some daily practices or habits that support recovery, and how are they integrated into actualized recovery?
Daily practices.
That's a big question.
Okay. Yeah.
So
it
hang
is.
on.
That's
Hang on.
right.
Let's start again. What are some of the daily
No, I got
practices
this.
or
I got
habits
this.
that
I got
support
this.
recovery?
I got this.
All right.
So we talk about it in the book, and I'm a huge proponent of beginning a morning with a morning routine, and that's different for absolutely everybody. What it's like is choosing. It's bookending your day. You can pick your morning. Typically, you can pick your evening. Sometimes the middle of the day might get a little out, you have no control over. But typically, we can count on a few things happening in the morning, and you can do a routine in the evening. When somebody's struggling and when they're in recovery, what we really encourage is that it's structured. So when you have your meals, you've gone grocery shopping, you've done a meal plan, you know what you're going to have when you get up, maybe a little movement to get things going, and the brain loves movement in the morning. If you can make it kind of fun, it's even better. And definitely hydrating. So very, very first thing that we recommend when you get up is having a big old glass of water with freshly squeezed lemon. The reason that that's so beneficial is, especially when you're detoxing from things, the liver accumulates toxins overnight. And so when we wake up in the morning, the toxins are kind of sitting there and they need help leaving the system. So your liver has done this wonderful, wonderful active job over the nighttime. So let's say you got up and you didn't have any water, or you went straight to a cup of coffee or something like that, then it doesn't exit the body. So those toxins actually get reabsorbed. So having a really neat morning and PM routine where you wind down and you're relaxing, that's what I would recommend.
We bookend our days.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm preparing for my morning. Actually starts the night before, and Dave and I shut everything down. We get everything ready that we need for the morning, and everything runs so much smoother. And when people are in recovery, or when you're wanting to make a change, that's super important, that you don't feel overwhelmed, you don't feel like you're in chaos. That's when the wheels fall off the bus.
all right, that's pretty awesome. And then how about the gratitude alphabet for sleep? Because I know that's something you've brought to us.
So this
See, she's getting excited now.
Yeah. Usually you take credit for it though, so I'm shocked that
we're on TV. I'm gonna be straight up there.
That's usually when you do take
Yeah.
So if you're having challenges sleeping at night and you do find that your brain is running a bit on overdrive, one of the recommendations that I share is called the gratitude alphabet. So your brain can only process one feeling at one time, and gratitude wins over every other emotion. So gratitude is like this magical gift that we were given as humans. When we think about it, our brain actually, the parasympathetic or the relaxed state kicks in, and the fight or flight goes offline. So we just recommend starting at the alphabet. So what are you grateful for that starts with the letter A?
Oh, it's easy because I just had one, an apple.
And why?
Oh, because they're delicious, and they're sweet, delicious, and juicy. Love my apples.
What about B?
B. Baseball. I love baseball. I like watching baseball. I used to like playing baseball because it was fun, it's entertaining, and there's a lot of strategy in it, and like baseball.
So, and
C is C. Come on, ask me C. Come on.
Oh, okay,
come on.
C.
Oh, this is the favorite one. You ready?
Okay.
Cookies.
Cookies.
Love cookies. Do I have to say why? Because we all know why, especially oatmeal raisin. Dave's favorite.
That's your favorite cookie?
I love those oatmeal raisin banana ones. The oatmeal raisin banana ones. Oh,
he does do. Dave makes a really good cookie. And it's super
but
simple.
here's the thing. Go through this alphabet when you go to bed. Turn the light off. Go through the alphabet. If you get to the end, which I doubt you will, but if you get to the
probably
end,
not. J is
you gotta repeat it again. Is that when you fall off? Is J?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gone past J.
But if you get to the end, you can repeat it, but you can't say the same words. Now, part of it is if you are stuck on a letter like H, and you're stuck on H, you don't know what to say. As long as you're thinking of something you're grateful for with H, your brain is staying in this place of gratitude. It cannot go to a place of fear and those dark thoughts. It's a one-way highway, your brain and nervous system. It can only process one emotion at a time. So as long as you're staying in that state of gratitude, searching for the next, something you're grateful for with the letter H, it will calm your nervous system and begin to help you to release those negative thoughts, those fearful thoughts. And sometimes they come at 2 a.m. Some of us wake up at 2, 3 a.m. with fear. Oh my God, money issues, relationship issues, drinking issues. If you go to the gratitude alphabet, it is very powerful to begin to reprogram and rewire your brain.
I have a question.
All right.
Came in, and I think this is a good one for you.
I like questions.
What's the role of personal responsibility in someone's recovery?
Oh, well, here's the issue. Is actually you're responsible for me. No, but it's silly. We are all responsible for ourselves, and this even goes to parents and people who sit in the rescuer chair or the enabler chair in the world of recovery and addiction problems and relationships. Is you're not responsible for the other individual. And even as parents, your goal as a parent, if you want to think about a high level, your goal as a parent is to create an autonomous, independent child. Love them, do all of those, care for them, safety, all of those are very, very important. But ultimately, you want to help shape and develop an autonomous, independent person who is responsible for themselves. And that means you're responsible for choice. And I'm going to jump right in to one of the myths of recovery is that you are powerless over your choices. No, you're not. Viktor Frankl, one of my favorite authors, wrote Man's Search for Meaning, powerful, wonderful book, incredible book. But after that, he developed a theory called logotherapy. Logotherapy teaches us in psychology, it's not in the world of recovery, except we're bringing it there, is that there's a stimuli. So someone yells at you, someone cuts you off on a highway, you get fired. There's a stimuli and there's an event. And then there's a choice. There's an action.
You get pulled over for speeding.
And then, never happened. And then...
Not since cameras.
So there's a stimuli, and then there's a choice. And in between those two is what we call your superpower. You have the power to choose the outcome. If you get we were driving down the road in Toronto, Canada, and we're driving on the road. It's a tight road, and a guy out of nowhere pulled out in the parking lane, didn't look, drove right into the passenger door,
took off
right where Susan's hip is, and ripped down the car, and just kind of wiped out the car. We pulled over, and I had a choice to come out yelling and screaming and how could you blank blank blank, or to come out with are you okay?
And empathy.
And it turned out there was an elderly man there, and he was just petrified and scared. We scared him more than he scared us. And I moved into this mode of helping them, and everything was okay. Everybody's safe. But we have choice. And so you are not powerless. And people in recovery who have been told or taught that you're powerless over a substance, no. Here's the trick. If you do a line of cocaine or if you do a shot of tequila and you have a problem with these things, then okay, you're gambling and you go to Vegas and place your bet. Okay, the horse is out of the barn, it's too late. But if you back up, there's a series of choices that led you to the bar or took you to Vegas instead of Florida, and that's the power in your choice. So everybody has power. Don't believe that myth. Esther, love to see you. Thanks very much for that.
Just feeding off of what you said, when you look at it, things from the brain first approach, it's not somebody's fault if their brain isn't functioning well. If there's a physiological issue, we wouldn't blame somebody for a heart issue, a kidney, a liver. And so we have to look at the brain the same way. However, it is your responsibility to move forward and to find things that are going to help to support for your healing. So it may not be your fault. It may not, in many cases, your responsibility of what happened in the past, but it is your responsibility to make decisions moving forward. It's not a family member. It's not anybody else.
So if you have a plugged artery in your heart, you go see a cardiologist, have surgery, get it fixed, then it's your responsibility then to make great decisions to take care of that.
Right. And not do the things that you did before that contributed to that.
All right, I'm going to see if I can find a question that's going to stump you. By the way, Esther, ask a question, stumper. Christina, throw something out here. Come on, Tom. And I don't know if Ted's still around. Ted, you got to throw one question out.
And anybody else?
Anybody else that's around? Yep. So, hang on, I got to find a read. Oh, I like this one. How does actualized recovery approach and relapse prevention programs? What are your thoughts on relapse prevention?
Well, let me begin by saying if you enter in a destination that you don't want into your GPS, do not be surprised or stunned when you show up at that destination. So the brain works in very much the same way. When whatever you want is what you need to work towards, right? And you create that vision. And our brains are so powerful. Our nervous system is so powerful, and it will lead you. It will actually guide you towards that destination. So relapse prevention is not part of, because you're planting the seed, first of all, that it's normal and it's just going to happen.
Well, I know firsthand of groups and recovery programs who sit people down or coming near the end of their time, and they look at a room of 10 people and look at them and say, 9 of you are going to relapse. And the moment you say that, first of all, you're giving everybody permission to relapse. That's actually the more norm. It's great for the industry, by the way, and create a whole relapse, which means a failure prevention plan.
There's money behind that.
Money. So how about this? Instead of we believe in creating strategies, but let's create a strategy of wellness. Let's create a strategy of well-being. Let's have somebody you want to call when maybe you're having a tough day, but that phone call is more directed towards what can you do wellness. They say, hey, you know what? Then let's meet at the pool, go for a swim. Let's go do something fun. Let's connect that way. So we believe in creating a plan. Susan loves axe throwing.
I love axe throwing. It is impossible to think about wanting, craving, or doing anything else when you are so engaged in throwing that axe at that little thing.
Which is mindfulness.
Right.
Mindfulness is wonderful there. See you, Ted. And mindfulness is really staying focused on something and not allowing all these other thoughts. And Susan's right. If you do axe throwing, there is nothing that you can focus on.
So here's the thing, the action. So a lot of people, I'm going to bring something. A lot of people will say, I can't meditate. I can't sit still. And totally agree with that. When we started working with people, often the first week or 2 weeks, there was no kind of mindfulness or meditation integrated into their routine, because the brain, if it's very, very overactive, that's a really dangerous place to be, is having somebody sit and close their eyes when this is like public enemy number one in here. The thoughts are so negative and so fearful at times that it's action, it's body movement, it's getting out and doing the walk, it's getting out and doing the basketball, it's some action, even if that's phoning somebody and walking while you're doing it, not sitting and meditating with your eyes closed.
All right, so we're going to cut to a break, and while we're gone on the break, I'm going to throw a question at Susan right now about somebody's asked, can you share a personal success story of someone who's used actualized recovery and it has actually helped them. So we'll come back in 1 minute. Now, boom, commercial break. We don't have a commercial. It's being made. But I really want to promote our podcast and producer, Nate.
Nate Kelly.
Nate is phenomenal.
Shout out, Nate.
You find Nate at podcastnate.com. And Nate is got a full suite of podcast productions. He's been doing this for years.
There he is. That's where you can find him.
We've worked with a lot of people in the podcast world. Nate is incredible.
A lot of people in promotions, PR,
including video streaming, which this is. So this is the next generation of podcasts to go live and have video. And if you're ever interested, talk to Nate, because not only do you go live, you create assets for your social media and all that. And Nate, when you're good, you're good. And Nate wrote a book, the book on the podcast revolution. And if you
and he says every client gets a signed copy of his book.
Hey Nate, where's our book, buddy?
It's in the mail.
So it's coming in the mail, and you can find Nate, podcast Nate Kelly, and on any social channel at Podcast Nate.
Yeah,
so,
and check out Nate has his own podcast. That's how we met Nate. An incredibly professional podcast.
And
shout out.
Yeah, and even if this is an exploratory thing, how do I do it? Nate's phenomenal. So podcastnate.com. And into commercial. Boom, we're live again. Oh yeah, we.
I love that thing.
I told you he was good.
See?
Did I not tell you?
How good Nate is.
That was unplanned. Boom, just like that, making us look good, which is pretty hard to do. Okay, the question though I asked you came in. No name here. Where was it? Oh, there it is. Can you share a success story of someone who has used the principles of actualized recovery in their journey, and has it actually helped them?
Yeah.
So by the way, we've worked with thousands of people.
And,
I'm thinking the French army guy. He's joining the French Legion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm thinking him.
Yeah. Young man, mom, incredible, very professional, and he just turned 18. Got in with the wrong crowd. Was doing some.
This is years ago.
Stuff.
Years ago.
Yeah, many years ago, and came, and there was to integrate. He's a very highly intelligent young man, beautiful, handsome. Was doing a lot of great things, and life had totally turned around. His mom was so concerned that he wasn't going to make it to his next birthday, and fast forward after going through and living a brain first lifestyle, and beginning to mature a little bit and understanding how important it is. We got a call 2 months ago. Yeah, and this is years ago that
and he's decided to make a massive shift in his life to find greater purpose in his life, and he has joined the French Foreign Legion,
which is really cool if you check it out.
Which I didn't know. You have to give up your name and your identity. They give you a new name, and you become. That's part of the whole process. And he's excited about it. And he's gone over for his first kind of intro training, and they were barking at him and hollering at him, and he was smiling and loving it because he felt the
because he went through our program. So everything else was.
I wasn't going there, but okay. And anyway,
I was at boot camp in itself.
We have great love for him and his mom and family, but we could go on.
Well, there was relationships. He had blown up his family relationships. He had blown up. He had a coach. He was a very highly athlete. He had burned those bridges. He had burned school, everything. And now it was what we learned is the family is very integrated, very together, very happy, and that's all in their past. So, yeah.
So I want to read you page 1 of our book. Well, actually, it's page 7, but
chapter 1.
The phone rings. It's late. It's been a long, draining day, but we answered. Hello. Hi, I need help. I'm desperate. I don't want to feel like a failure anymore, but I need help. I understand. Can you explain more? I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything and nothing has worked. Some things have helped me for a short period of time, but now I feel worse than ever. I feel like giving up. My life seems over. For over a decade, we got phone calls like this at all hours of the day and night. Why? Because a crisis doesn't take a holiday.
Mhm.
We've had thousands of calls from mothers and fathers and spouses and life partners, aunts, uncles, grandparents, frantic friends, adult children, even concerned colleagues. Sometimes it was the person who was struggling. We could hear the pain, the despair, and the deep worry in their voices. For many people who called us, their candle was flickering. And why I share that is as much we're having fun with the other story, we have helped people with this brain first approach, introduce this in their lives, coach them through it, and with the lifestyle that they've adopted, have turned their lives around. And if you're at that crossroads, if you're in that dark place, please reach out. Come check us out at Emergo Academy. This is not a sell. This really is a place of hope. This really is an
community.
opportunity. An opportunity.
Yeah, it is our dream and wish to create a very strong virtual community where everybody feels accepted, where there is no judgment, and where you really learn how the brain is responsible and things that you can implement either for yourself or people that you love, your family, to make some changes that just unlock. We call it unlocking your extraordinary. So not focusing on the problems, but focusing on the solutions. And each one of those is very tailored, right? We're all very unique. Our lives are different. Everything that has happened, every trauma, everything has contributed. So we need to take all of that into consideration. But it's yeah, actualized recovery can be very, very tailored, and that's why we love it.
By the way, if you like this chat, do me a favor, do Susan and I a favor, smash that like button and even subscribe so that next week and the week after and the week after, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're coming live, but you'll get an announcement in a meeting. So smash that or click the like button and you'll get noticed. What do you got? You got more questions?
Yeah, I'm going to give you another one.
You asked me?
Look over my shoulder.
I look over.
How does the concept of actualization play into the recovery process, and why is it important?
I'll keep this one short. The word actualized. To actualize something by definition means to make it real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're talking about, is bringing recovery real. Anybody who doesn't think that you can recover from anything it's wrong. It's flat out wrong. And you have hope. It requires an openness and a willingness and a courage. Sometimes it takes courage to step into change, whether that's a diet, whether that's exercise, or whether that's letting go of a substance that you have sought to help you through trauma.
Letting go of friends that you have used those substances with.
So to actualize something means to make real. And if you notice in all of our conversations, seldom do we talk about an addiction. We always talk about the solution, which is lasting recovery, which is living a life of well-being, thriving, if I can say. But when we said actualize thriving, people wouldn't understand that. So all right, my turn. And I know there's people out there with questions, and I think they're
shy.
No, they're challenging us to keep this going on our own. Okay, hang on. Oh, I saw one up here a minute ago. Okay, it was regarding recovery coaching. Oh, how does recovery coaching fit? And how can you help somebody?
So how do I say that in a condensed version? So recovery coaching can be from anything. So again, we're going to look at the etymology. So recover means
what's etymology?
Etymology, the study of words.
There you go.
So if you look at recovery, the definition is to get something back that has been lost, to heal or to overcome something. That's recovery. So addiction doesn't have the recovery market cornered, right? This is to heal, so tomorrow is better than it is today. A year from now is even better than tomorrow. And so recovery coaches are focused on today and moving forward, and focused on what you want in your life, not the problems that you currently have, or not the things that have happened in the past. So recovery coaching is very specialized. And as you can tell, we teach it in a very unique way. And it's really about communication and helping to reflect back, using techniques that reflect back to the person what it is that they really want. So recovery coaches are very, very skilled in being able to help people move forward in life, maybe be unstuck.
Shameless plug. Where can they get training? Shameless plug.
Well, with us, that's the there, Nate.
Yeah.
Nate put it in. So what we wanted to do is be able to give back to all of the people that we spoke with over the years. Many of them came to stay with us. Our team, we had a fabulous team of coaches and people. We had chefs, we had physical therapists, we had everything. And we wanted to take and integrate all of that into something that would touch so many more people and leave our legacy. And so we've created actualized recovery, crisis and recovery coaching. Right? So we're bringing actualized recovery to life, but we're teaching the skills, because we have a unique skill set. We lived with people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so there's a lot of nuances that we have learned firsthand, that we love sharing with people who feel that the urge.
Hold it. Let me translate. What Susan is saying is anybody can go to a therapist's office and fake it for an hour. They lived with us on property with our team of upwards of 26 people. They live with us and we live with them 24/7. You can't fake it 24/7, right. Week after week after week. So right. We saw the real pain. We saw the fear. Right. We saw the courage and the growth.
We saw the greatness.
Yes.
And being able to see somebody's potential even when they didn't see it, and holding that.
How about when a 45-year-old woman would come or a man would come and we'd say, all right, now the next hour in your schedule is outdoor and it's play. And they went, what? No, I'm here for serious work. We went, yep, you got to play. Mm-hmm. And then by week 2, seeing them laugh, belly laugh and have fun, moving their bodies, leveraging play. Right. It's absolutely phenomenal. So that's one of the things that you'll learn in the book is the value of play. And it has been shown in neuroscience and psychology to be a phenomenal tool for people who are struggling.
Experiential therapies.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, we practice a lot. Tom sent us a question. How integral is creating a future vision for someone in the beginning steps of their recovery? And is that based on solutions-focused problem solving?
Well, I'll play on this question a little bit here, Tom. How integral is it in creating a future vision? You can't. You can only, as a coach, you can ask questions to help them create that vision and get them to share it. Sometimes it's getting them to connect with things they loved when they were a little girl or a little boy. It really is. Sometimes they forget what that is, mm-hmm. and they begin to create that and reconnect with that passion and excitement. And then you can figure out as a coach or a family member how they might be able to integrate that in their life. But it's less about meaning and more about purpose. Mm-hmm. Think of that for a minute. It's less about meaning. There's a lot of things out there right now about finding meaning in your life, and more about purpose. And it all stems from answering the question of what do you want? Yeah. What would you like? Yeah. What excites you? What brings passion to your life? Mm-hmm. All of those questions helps the individual begin to shape that vision. And that's like the GPS. That gives them a roadmap and their destination of where they're coming. So we're going to break our last break, and then we got our last section coming up. And Susan, you and I are going to get personal. The question is, well, come on, my God, she brings some humor here. What I mean by personal is, why do we do what we do. Okay, Nate.
Discover the brain-first approach to recovery with Emergo Academy and join our recovery club. Surround yourself with a supportive community free of guilt and shame, and gain access to coaches and recovery experts with lived experience. Dave and Susan Kenney, co-founders of Emergo Academy, have developed these methodologies over the last 15 years. And as a member of the Recovery Club, you get exclusive access and resources to achieve your recovery goals and relieve the suffering. Stay up to date with live group meetings, Emergo TV updates, and 24/7 access to the private Recovery Club. Visit emergoacademy.com and join the Recovery Club today.
Never going to get old.
Susan just wants to sit here and have Nate just play that last animated logo all the time.
That's Nate speaking.
That's Nate's voiceover.
Nate in that
That's his
commercial.
voiceover. So the question everybody wants to know out there in the world, why do we do what we do? Why aren't we selling real estate? So why do you do what you do? Why have you done this for over a decade of your life? Why did you write the book?
Going back to when we first started having conversations about that, I saw at that point young adults that were struggling. They were being diagnosed with all kinds of things, and my thought is, not a chance. Like, this is wrong. Everything about this is wrong, and people struggle, and there has to be a better way other than labeling and diagnosing and making people feel hopeless and helpless. So that was the inception. That was the beginning of the conversation. It was personal because we were at a school, and we got to know these teens and young adults because it was a high school. It was a private high school, and the kids lived there. So we knew them. We went to the dances. We invited them over for barbecues. And so when we were watching them struggle, and to me, it just wasn't acceptable to say, you're labeled with this, and here, take this medication. And then when they took medication, we watched many of them just disappear. And so that was it. It was to set out to find a solution, because I thought that was unacceptable. These were great kids. They were the best kids, because they were struggling a little bit, but it means that in life they're questioning things, and I thought they needed a break. They needed an advocate, somebody who's going to say, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you, other than, maybe it's a brain issue, and let's figure out some ways to do it. So it was personal to me. I didn't want those kids to suffer.
Me? My turn?
Well, like anybody else in the room? Are you on the book?
Why do I do what I do? It's very personal for me. It's as I move uncomfortably in my chair with emotion, it's very personal for me that I believe in greatness in everyone. So let's go back to a bigger place. I believe in greatness in every single person. I believe in greatness in everyone. Some people have more talent. This is why I don't believe in everybody gets a medal in soccer, because it's okay to fail in soccer, because that may lead you more to dance, because you're gifted in dance, and I can't dance no matter what. I've tried. But everybody has a gift. I believe in greatness, and I call it God. That's a God-given or a spiritual given thing, and a uniqueness about us all in the world. So why then do people so-called fail? Well, we learn to fail over time, and sometimes that hurts and we stop trying. Sometimes our brain is broken or dysfunctioned That causes a lot of problems because your brain drives everything, and including academic problems. And so, from a personal standpoint, I don't believe a 10-year-old girl or a 10-year-old boy goes to school looking forward to fail a math or an English test. Yay, it's Wednesday and I get to fail my test today. No. Well, fast forward, I don't believe a 40-year-old goes to work and want to fail in their sales job or get fired from a nursing job. Like, nobody intentionally wants that. And there are a lot of things that happen in life, and sometimes bad things happen to good people. Welcome to life, called adversities. So the result of that is oftentimes people find relief using substances and things, and they help for a short period of time, but not a long period of time. I'd love to get into that in the next show about what that's all about. And I speak from experience because there was a period of my life, maybe half my life, where I struggled with maybe a little bit more than half, maybe 60% of my life, where I struggled with a dysfunction brain, a brain that didn't work. Well, it's easy to say. Let me give you an example. In grade 4, good kid, really good kid, good family, wonderful family. At school, failed grade 4. Wow, okay. Let's repeat grade 4, Dave. My dad is a wonderful educator. Had me repeat grade 4. We're going to brush up on the fundamentals, and then you're going to take off. You're going to be the top of your class. And I was excited for second year of grade 4, only to fail worse the second year. My grades were worse. That made no sense to anybody. And the teachers back when I went to school used everything like lazy and unmotivated, doesn't care, just needs to work harder. No matter how hard I worked, the letters and the numbers crossed and they got all mumble jumbled. We now know that is a learning challenge or difficulty, which actually is a brain that's wired wrong. And we can change that. My father actually brought neuroplasticity in my life in June 15th of 1981, as the year I graduated, the day and the year I graduated from high school. That night he sat me down with somebody who was speaking at our high school graduation and introduced something called the Tamata system, which is the first evolution in neuroplasticity before the world actually knew about neuroplasticity. And that began me on this journey, which I didn't fully grasp until probably, about my 40s is when I fully grasped it and began to live a brain healthy lifestyle. Since then, my brain, I have no brain fog. I sleep better. My emotions are more level. I'm clearer. I write better. I read better. I remember what I read. I can read a book. And I went through university, couldn't read. I struggled and all that. So this is very personal for me in that people struggle for reasons. And I believe number one reason is the brain is wired in an imbalanced way. And the good news is we can fix that. All of us can. What you have today is not what you have to have tomorrow. And that's why I do it. And I am darn passionate about it. And that's why I'm really, really proud of this opportunity to share it with the world, Actualized Recovery, and also Emergo Academy, and come and join our communities and our coaching and our programs. And some of those are free. So we want to help people.
Well, we're going to be here every week, same time.
What's that?
At 7 p.m. Eastern.
There you go.
And we're here to serve. We're here to answer any questions. We're here to lend support, give guidance and direction if we think that we can help. We want to bring this to life, and truly we want people to understand there is no shame, there is no guilt. You have not done anything that is your fault. And if you think willpower factors into it, as Dave said, nobody wakes up and says, man, I hope I can disappoint and fail today. I hope that, that's not human nature. And so if that's happening, then there's things that we have to look at, and the brain is the first of those things. If a human being isn't able to leave their home because there's fear and panic, and they physically have symptoms, we've got to look at the brain and nervous system first, and we've got to relax that.
So it's not about willpower.
It's about brain power.
It is all about brain power. So you mentioned community, and there's a question here that I saw about community How important is community in the recovery process?
Yeah, everything. Johan Hari has written an amazing book called Connections. And what he studied, he's a reporter who does deep work, and he started to work in the world of recovery. And when he was meeting with people, he said the opposite of addictions is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connections. And so we are hardwired to be connected to others in a healthy, passionate way. In fact, there was a Harvard study done. It's still going. It started in the 1940s, and the people are still meeting with the generations now of those original students. And what they found was shocking, but the thread through it all is deep, meaningful relationships are the best predictor of health and well-being. It's the best predictor of your financial. It's the best, like everything to do with the goodness in life is about connections.
So, by the way, one of the 5 principles is connection. So, for Actualized Recovery, for those who joined us a little late, Actualized Recovery, the brain first approach to lasting recovery, we have 5 principles: physiology, the body, the mind, all of that, their brain, I should say. Psychology, we can get into positive psychology, strength-based. Spirit, so important, who we are, what makes us laugh, what makes us smile, our spirit. Connections, there you go. Connections is that important. And then connections, and then lifestyle. Tom, and happiness.
And happiness is the feeling of contribution and the courage to be disliked. Amazing book, Tom. Thank you for throwing that in. Yeah, if you're looking for, we've got both up here, The Courage to Be Disliked, and then there was another one, The Courage to Be Happy, I think was the second book.
For what that's, I mean, to get to the why we do what we do, there's my selfish thing. Tommy just wrote it. Happiness is the feeling of contribution. I do feel like I am contributing. Actualized Recovery is not for everyone in the world, and I accept that, and I honor that, and I respect people's decisions. However, this is a new approach that I believe is highly effective, and we know from the response a lot of people are out for this. By the way, I want to go back to, thanks for that, Tom. It's a great book, The Courage to Be Disliked.
It's Adlerian psychology, which fits so well with Actualized Recovery.
In short, Adlerian psychology is humans do things for a personal benefit. Even philanthropists who give money do it for personal benefit. And so that's the difference between that and most psychology-based teachings. I wanted to just touch base. You said sobriety.
I see where you're going. Yeah.
We have 1 minute. You mentioned sobriety. I don't want you to be sober. Hold it.
Do not want you to be
seriously,
sober.
Even if you have a drinking or a drug issue, I don't want you to be sober. And here's why. Is sober, the definition, the quality of being staid or solemn, to conformity, to convention, accept standards and behave properly. The state of feeling and being calm, unemotional, or dispassionate. I am not a dispassionate fella. I am a little bit passionate, and I don't need something to be passionate. I am genuinely passionate, and particularly about this subject. So we don't want you to be sober. We want you to live a full, thriving,
effervescent,
rich life. Effervescent. That sounds like a mouthwash. Effervescent.
No, you have effervescent mouthwash?
I don't know. What is it?
That is weird. Like bubbly.
Yeah.
Bubbly.
Okay. Bubbly, sparkly. And with that, we're at the end of our hour, which is hard to believe.
Thank you so much for joining us on our very, very, very first live.
Smash the button, subscribe, like, do all whatever the buttons on your social media.
Everybody to come.
We're back here.
Or send us questions.
Same time next week, Eastern time, 7 p.m. So that's 4 p.m. Pacific time, and you can figure out all your other time zones every Thursday, and we'll have more questions, more answers here at Emergo TV. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening.
Discover the brain-first approach to recovery with Emergo Academy and join our recovery club. Surround yourself with a supportive community free of guilt and shame, and gain access to coaches and recovery experts with lived experience. Dave and Susan Kenney, co-founders of Emergo Academy, have developed these methodologies over the last 15 years. And as a member of the Recovery Club, you get exclusive access and resources to achieve your recovery goals and relieve the suffering. Stay up to date with live group meetings, Emergo TV updates, and 24/7 access to the private Recovery Club. Visit emergoacademy.com and join the Recovery Club today.